fucking no spidey senses.
That's a debate that's going on right now. There's people that are saying that the spidey senses are there. There's other people saying that their spidey senses aren't there.
But why have this Emma? Like, what's with this new or whatever it's called? I don't know if it's Emma?
The suit that Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing. Like, why? Okay, so I know there's people out there, that specifically mention that Peter Parker's a genius in the comic books, and he's always been able to create all his own stuff.
Right.
And he's also 14. He's not even 15 technically. He's 14 in the movie, about to be 15. But there are parts of the movie where he shows he redesigned his the webbing. He created that himself.
He made the web, yeah. Exactly.
he was making shit on his own without Tony. He didn't have the funding that Tony has. And I think that's kind of realistic. Like he's super smart. He can, and then him and the kid, him and the chubby Filipino sidekick were able to hack the suit. I mean, it just shows that these kids are smart.
Yeah.
And even though Tony Stark's a genius inventor, these young kids are still able to hack his.
So would you say it's a reimagining of?
I think it's the spider sense thing. I see both sides of it. Like there's certain parts where it's not consistent. I think, and it's not addressed either. You know what I mean? Like I guess in Civil War they talk about it a little bit, but he never says the word spidey senses.
Right.
We don't really hear it. I don't know if they're shying away from that now or why they would.
Maybe it's trademarked.
Maybe it is.
Or something like that.
It's interesting that it's not like, it's usually a focal point. But I think that also I think it grounds his character a little more. We
know he was bit by a spider, though.
Yeah, they do talk about that.
Which was interesting because I felt like, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing is I'm glad that we didn't go through that whole origin thing either. We didn't see him get bit by the spider and see him discovered for the fucking 17th time. You know what I mean? That's fine. I'm good with that. Like he's already got his shit. We don't have to see anything else. But we see, like you said, the significance of Iron Man giving him the suit might have to do with Sony stipulations. You know what I mean? The one thing I have to say about the movie though is like it definitely didn't feel. This felt more like an Ant-Man,
right?
Or I don't want to say Doctor Strange, but maybe Doctor Strange. Like he didn't feel like one of the heavy hitters.
Spider-Man?
Yeah. This movie doesn't feel like a heavy hitter movie. It doesn't feel like the Iron Man movie.
You feel like it's a one-off?
It doesn't feel like a Captain America
Even
movie.
though Spider-Man is one of the biggest characters?
The importance, exactly, the importance of his character to the team does not feel the way it, like, we know that Iron Man and Captain America are the top dogs. And Spider-Man feels like a secondary character, even with his own movie. Kind of like Ant-Man feels like a secondary character, even though he had his own movie.
Yeah, Doctor Strange, I could see. Like, I could make that. I mean, Black Panther will be that way, too.
Right.
Because they're not the core, like the core four or whatever they are.
Right.
I mean, there's four, right? Hulk. Well, Hulk didn't get a movie. Not a new one, anyways. Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, and then I guess, Thor. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. It did, because it felt like but also the scale was also smaller, too.
Right.
Like, I actually felt like this was more like the Netflix show.
Yeah.
But as a movie.
Right.
That's how small it felt. Like Daredevil feels very insignificant to the overall everything. But,
right.
That stuff's still going on technically. Which is interesting because Daredevil's in Hell's Kitchen, right? And then this movie is in Queens. Do you think there'll be a crossover there? Probably not because Sony.
I mean, not just Sony, but there's that whole beef that we talked about last time. The beef between Marvel Television and Marvel Cinematic. Oh, yeah. And I think that's going to prevent a crossover. But it would be nice,
It'd be interesting if they saw each other. Like I
think the big thing is, and obviously this doesn't count because Jessica Jones, but the Netflix characters they're not as super powered. Even though Jessica Jones is strong and so is Luke Cage, they don't feel as super powered as Iron.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Daredevil. I mean, obviously Daredevil wouldn't be able to fucking fight any of the actual Avengers, but I feel like when I watch Daredevil, I get the same feeling like that I feel when I watch Batman. Even though Batman has all the gadgets and everything.
Right. I mean, there's similar characters. They have similarities to them, but
I know what you're saying.
Batman is the Iron Man of DC.
Right.
He's the inventor.
Batman would fight Iron Man.
Right.
Batman would just annihilate Daredevil, or anyone would pretty much. Thor, whoever.
Yeah, there's only a certain level of baddie that Daredevil can take on.
Which makes me. Do you think the Defenders will be in the Avengers? The Infinity War?
It's almost like they're separating them by level of event. So the Defenders are there to take care of the street level stuff, and then the Avengers are there to take care of,
aliens and
stuff,
shit.
Yeah, stuff that can like threaten the universe or threaten Earth. The Defenders defend New York City. The Avengers defend the planet. That's the difference.
All right, I'll and then the Guardians of the Galaxy protect the
galaxy. They defend the universe, or the galaxy.
But I mean, I liked it overall, though. I mean, I didn't feel disappointed. I would watch a sequel to it. Like, I'm glad that they were able to work things out and get this movie made for sure.
It was a fun movie. It was a good time. It wasn't the best for sure, and there's definitely stuff they just they dropped the ball. I think on some stuff. That's all. I think what helps for me is I've never been a Spider-Man fan. So
the fact that you weren't pissed off the whole time was good enough for you.
Because I'm not like questioning, like, why did they change this? Why did they change that? Like, I didn't care because I'm not a Spider-Man guy. I know his origin, and it was because it doesn't matter. I think he fits in. I think this is the MCU universe, which has already been established, which has already been told to everyone is not the same universe as in the comic books. But we still have like pissy ass fanboys getting butthurt that they're changing stuff.
Right.
And it's like, when you're going to change something, are you doing it for the better? Are you doing it to make it fit? Or are you doing it just to change stuff? And then my issue is always with, if you're going to change the character just to change stuff, that's dumb.
Yeah, because if you're not doing it for the purpose or a larger scale, like the overall universe, then why? Why even bother?
Exactly.
Especially if we're grown to like associate spidey senses or whatever with them, and it's like if you're not going to remove that because, like, for example, if they're going to take that away because of you, like you said, for New Age, that a reevaluating of like spidey senses, what that would mean in the 21st century, or maybe the suit completes. Because I feel like he said he feel like he said something like he feels very like he can't control his impulses or something like that.
Something.
And
like
maybe
that.
the suit like helps him like to see things better.
And I think that's the thing that people are missing is that the guy's he just hit puberty.
Right.
The character did. So maybe his powers aren't completely there yet.
Right. So I'm saying
this is the youngest version of Spider-Man we've seen on screen.
Like, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be.
Right.
That is the comic book. He's a teenager. He's a kid. He's still eating garbage from the liquor store. Shitty sandwiches.
The best part in the movie I thought was when he's fighting the dude with the what's his name, the fucking Shocker, and he punches him through the bus, and then he like falls on the bus, and then he looks at gum underneath the seat of the bus, and he says like "ew, gross" or something like that. Like he's in a life or death situation.
There's a kid reaction.
Yeah, he sees some gum on the bus under the seat, and I feel like that was a comic book moment. Like that's what Marvel nails better than DC. I feel like the literal from the page comic book moments of all of these characters, whether it's Spider-Man, Thor, whatever. Like there's those moments where you could probably say, oh, that's issue 951 of whatever. I mean, I don't even know if Spider-Man has that many, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Which is cool. I like that. I mean, because in any other movie, if Shocker punched Iron Man through that bus and Iron Man looked at it and said, ew, gross, like it'd be out of place.
Yeah.
But it's Spider-Man, so it's like, yeah, of course he's going to think about something insignificant in a life or death situation.
But there's definitely stuff there's stuff that feels what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, it remains true to the character. There's other stuff they changed, obviously, but I feel like the essence of his character is there. Right?
No, I agree. I definitely agree. I recommend it though. I recommend watching it just so we can get another one. I mean, they announced another one, but if it doesn't do well, which obviously
it made
it is doing well.
$117 million this weekend.
252 worldwide, I think, was something along those lines.
Yeah, it's going to be another close to $1 billion movie,
which is cool. I mean, they're not going anywhere yet.
People are still excited about Marvel, I think. Because all their movies are still making money. People are still
they're new. So, in a weird way, Marvel withholding all of the newer properties is working in their favor.
Right.
Like, they could have made a Doctor Strange movie right after the Avengers if they wanted to.
They're pacing it.
Yeah. And it's annoying at first because you're like, fuck, why don't you just make X, Y, or Z? But now it's like, okay, 8 years to get a Spider-Man movie, and this is the result. All right.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I mean, that
and it was rushed.
What,
know
this
I mean?
one?
They didn't have a lot of time to write the script out and everything.
Oh, I'm sure, because as soon as they got the go-ahead, they can
they started
use
working on it.
It was like, yeah.
And they actually bumped the other movies so they could squeeze it in.
Yeah, and I'm sure that was a contract requirement,
I think
too.
Black Panther was supposed to come out this year, and they pushed it to next year.
Which hopefully makes a better Black Panther
They got
movie.
more time to work on it, yeah.
And then Homecoming 2 is even better because of it. I don't know if it's going to be called Homecoming 2, but whatever it ends up being called.